Yeah, man. What I
That's
was
hot
saying,
shit
man.
right there,
You know what I'm saying?
man.
So what we gonna do? We gonna
We want you to be an activist. And don't take our word for it. Look that shit up. Pulley. What do you think about it? How does it make you feel, you know what I mean, after watching it?
Complex. I definitely have. I still have so many questions, but like you said, I do see that. I do see the dynamics clearly, and I do see that being capable of being played out just based on how the dynamics are. And because I looked it up, and the African American population right now is only 12.6.
Damn, I doubled it.
So, I mean, yeah, they would happily turn, part of their population over.
They're gonna be like, it's only 12% of the population, so hey, how bad is it really gonna hurt? They're giving us a bunch of stuff. We kind of want to get rid of them anyways. So this is a win-win.
Right. And I'm sure they knew, because the guy said it in the beginning, that they know they're turning them over pretty much as a sacrifice. There's no guarantee they're going to live. That's what they know for sure, is that this is essentially what it is a sacrifice. We're sacrificing part of our population. There's no goody in it. Oh, they're not thinking that. They're already making this deal in their mind with the idea that they're sacrificing part of their population, which is insane to me.
Right, because they're thinking it's going to be a genocide or whatever, but they don't even really care, right? They don't care one way or the other. But that's why the argument of they're going to a utopia, a beautiful place, a beautiful planet or whatever, I think that argument would have worked. You spread that propaganda around, and then they start getting it into their head like, wait a minute.
Right.
I think, yeah. So
Because
that's
they
why.
said African Americans the same thing, in slavery. They threw the Bible at them and told them that the more you suffer, you're going to be rewarded for it in heaven.
Right.
You're going to be rewarded for suffering. And so, it's very interesting to see that played out.
Yeah, I loved it. I think it was a great idea, to think about it. So like a mental exercise, it's like a mental, you know what I mean? And it's like, so like the idea of the rapture too, because a lot of people look at the rapture as a good thing, like it's going to actually come or whatever. And people going to finally get their salvation or whatever. So like this kind of concept would be like this is how it could happen or whatever. You know what I mean? This is the idea of it. You know what I mean? That it looks like it's going to be a bad thing, but it's really not. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because I think that's the vibe that the episode or movie or whatever was trying to give. I really think that's what they were trying to say. Mm-hmm. Because at the end, the way he went up, and it was like peaceful. You know what I'm saying? So it seems like if they wanted to kill them or hurt them in any kind of way, then they would have did it in a different way.
Right.
Let me read some comments underneath the video. The first comment, it says, this movie puts everything out there for us to see and hear of exactly what they think about the children of Israel. Liquor, drugs, the economy, how they set it up for children of Israel to stay at the bottom. They know who the children of Israel are. Next comment, it says, do you think the aliens would treat them any more badly than we have? That's a jaw-dropping question. Confession. Yeah, that was interesting. So that's what the black guy was like. He was like, shit, man, can't be worse than this.
Right.
Got some liquor, shit, I'm good. Let me read some more comments. It says, they may not like us, but they sure can't live without us. They just put that in quotation marks. Another comment, it says, watch this movie years ago. This lets us know they know more than they letting us know. That's an interesting comment. Another one, it says, I was born in 1981, so how in the hell I missed this movie? So much symbolism and huge eye-opening to truth. Wow, man, they always knew the Most High coming back for us only. Let me read some more. It says, after re-listening to the entire Bible, I guess, I've compiled this list of our people to read and look up for themselves. He got a whole list of Bible verses. Wow, bro, you put a lot of time in that. Let me read some more. It says, the mistake many of us make, like the brother in the movie, is to think they are capitalists first and racists second. If it were about capital, they might mistreat you, but they hate you. The hate is due to who you are and who they ain't. You want to make comments? I don't want to keep you forever. I know your time is precious.
I just, this is like just mental gymnastics. Like I'm just going over the multiple possibilities and the multiple reasons why. Because I thought if the African Americans go, they're just going to find someone else to hate on. So they're going to find someone else to point the finger at. This is why our jobs are taken. This is why America's like this.
Exactly.
That's a tough one.
I love it. I love it. I love it. It's a mental exercise. And it's like, I mean, you think about, the thing about the damn liquor and the cigarettes and how those companies were like, man, we're going to lose money. So the only people he could find that would be on his team really to help him was people that would find economic reasons to, want to keep the black people around. Right. That's super interesting right there, that idea.
But they still didn't turn up.
Well, they probably didn't have enough impact. Maybe that was that reason why it got up to 37% or 36% or whatever it was. It's so interesting. And all the dynamics related to the guy being a Republican and a black guy having a white wife, white neighbors, and really kind of just playing the game to win. But overall, really wanting to look out for black people, and in the end, trying to look out for black people. And then the black people not trusting him and not listening to him. Like, that sounds like a story that happens over and over and over again. Because what we were saying before in some of the other videos is like, I feel like for you to do great good, you have to do some evil. You know what I'm saying? And even the other way around, if you want to do great evil, like you want to just do a greatest evil possible, you're going to have to do some good, because it's just how things work. Because, like, let's say for you to get into the position to be able to do great good for your people, you got to do some dirt to get there. Right. So them people can trust you, so that you can get into position to actually make moves, because they're not going to trust you. They if you Mother Teresa, you not, you straight clean. None of these people are clean. Like, they talk about the spy versus spy. Like, I knew this guy who was an FBI undercover agent guy. And this guy would tell us stories he wasn't no longer at this time, but he was telling us stories about when he was. And he was talking about how like if your assignment was to be like a crackheaded wino that lived in the damn alley, then that's what you actually did. And you know what I'm saying? They didn't clock out and go home. That's not how it works. They out there and actually doing the drugs and actually drinking alcohol, actually doing heroin or whatever the fuck. Like, literally. And but that's how they're able to get information. That's how they're able to use them. That's how, because ain't nobody gonna trust you on the streets if you don't, every time they pass the drugs or the weed or the alcohol around, and you be like, nah, I'm good. They're gonna be like, oh, what? You must be a cop. So you have to think about that, So that's the thing, the dynamic I'm thinking of about how being a bad guy to be a good guy, and the dynamic of the black guy in this movie where he was like the Republican and everybody called him an Oreo, but in the end he was really trying to look out for black people.
Right. I think people fail to acknowledge how much the human experience is dynamic. It's not a a dichotomy, either this or that.
black or white.
The human experience is very much fluid and dynamic, and people don't want to, especially when we get into these like, debates, arguments, disagreements, they want to say like, oh, but I'll put you in this box and that makes it easier for me and less guilt on me to have these thoughts and ideas. It's a tactic.
Simplify.
It helps us separate ourselves from that person, the other.
That's what make people go look up the music or whatever the hell. I think if the Island Boys came out with like a movie or something, I ain't gonna lie, that might be good. Like some kind of stupid. I don't watch Jackass or nothing like that, but these guys are
type stuff, yeah.
But these guys are so goofy that it's like, if they did it the right way and like these guys were like being serious but it was, we could see the humor in it, then that would be entertaining.
And I was recently listening to the come up of Doja Cat. She came up off of meme culture too, and she found a way to capitalize off of it and make a career off of it.
She went viral with some really silly video. I remember my daughter was younger, and it was like, what was it? It was like something about milk or something. It was a really silly moo, right? But cows, and it was a super silly thing.
Yeah.
And even Doja Cat was like, she just made it for fun. She didn't know that it was gonna like, but it kind of went viral. The kids was feeling that shit.
But it pushes the culture further into, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm just doing something to make someone laugh, and it's damaging.
Yes.
It can be damaging.
I completely agree. The nothingness culture, and they're so lazy too. Like I say, the TikTok dances aren't even like, if they was really learning some dance, then it would be cool because they're gonna get a sweat in, and they gotta actually learn and learn how to count too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? But these TikTok dances, they're all the same. They do this little thing with their arms and their hands. It's so mindless.
Yeah.
It's just like the scrolling, the scrolling is so mindless.
I heard this weird conspiracy when I was on TikTok. It says that China doesn't reward that type of stuff in its own app, but they rig the algorithm to reward that type of stuff in America to keep us like doing mindless and stupid shit for likes and attention. And that really got me thinking about media and its influence, and even like the political influence in the media.
And you got to think about warfare, because the United States try to act like they big and so bad, so but if you got this big huge military, you got these people who got all the biggest guns and stuff, well then you're not going to fight them that way, right? That would be stupid. So you would go at it in a whole nother kind of way,
right?
Right. Something like getting them scrolling on their damn phone for hours and hours and hours and getting dumber and dumber. That might be another way to go at it.
Right.
Anyways, I'm going to move on to this because before you leave, I know I don't have you that long. I don't know where the hell is everybody. I'm going to start sending some texts when I play this video. But this is what I mentioned earlier. If aliens took black people. And I really think it's just the idea is so great. I watched this thing twice already. It's only 30 minutes.
Right.
It's an episode from some show way back in the day. I don't know what this was. I have never seen this before, but it popped up or somebody sent it to me or whatever. I don't know how the hell I ended up with this. But I found this and I was watching it. I thought it was really interesting. I really kind of want to stop it as we go. Because you didn't catch it, right? I sent this.
No, I didn't catch it yet.
This was recent. Yeah, I sent this like today, I think. So I really was planning on covering this later, like tomorrow, just to give y'all time to watch it. But I like this so much. Screw it.
Bernie, some of these people have been out here since 2 o'clock this morning, though the aliens aren't scheduled to arrive before noon. But as you can see, the crowd is getting pretty excited as America prepares for its first encounter with space since NASA went bankrupt back in 1998. It's quite a circus.
Thank you, Stryker. Of course, we will go back to Plymouth Rock the moment the aliens are sighted. In other news, the Environmental Protection Agency has added Hartford, Connecticut to its list of cities to be evacuated by year's end. Carcinogen levels there have topped those found in Baltimore last year. The gap between black salaries and white widened. Wait, something's now happening at Plymouth Rock. Striker.
Well, as you can hear, Bernie, there's definitely something going on now. We can't see it.
It's really interesting that they say Plymouth Rock, and it's like this is the contact spot. Like this is the location of the contact with the aliens. That's interesting.
Anything yet, but this humming is definitely growing louder. You know, ever since the alien signal was first received some 3 months ago, speculation has run rampant as to their appearance, the size and shape of their craft. Oh my God! Literally, a spacecraft of this material nowhere right over our heads. This is absolutely amazing. This is literally an unbelievable sight. You know, as I look to my left, I see Vice President D'Amato and Secretary of State Buchanan approaching the microphone. For those of you who are concerned, President Taylor, of course, is safe and secure in an undisclosed bunker until it's determined whether or not aliens pose any threat.
Hello? Hello? Is this on? Can you understand me? I'm the Vice President
We are space traders bearing exclusive gifts that will restore your nation to its former glory. Nearly limitless quantities of gold and precious metals that will instantly erase your deficit. Machines that will renew your rivers and your air. Cold fusion technology for a safe, cheap, and inexhaustible source of energy. All we ask in return is the delivery to our vessels. 5 days from now, every child, woman, and man in your nation with at least 2,500 milligrams of melanin in their skin per square centimeter.
What the hell is melanin?
Put more.
What the hell is melanin?
And it's so weird that they specified melanin. Like no genealogy, no percentage, just the melanin. That's interesting.
Yes. Well, it did say percentage, a certain amount of melanin per square inch of skin.
Wow.
That's what they said. So basically, we want all your black people. So, and then we'll give you a bunch of gold, and we'll give you a technology for unlimited energy, and we'll also fix your planet. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
Make your environment clean. But all you have to do is hand over all your black people. Let me play a little bit more.
Or simply, in trade for solving all your most pressing domestic catastrophes, we are asking for every person in your country that you would classify as black.
Are you kidding?
No, we are not.
What are you going to do with it?
Well, that does not concern you. We give you 5 days to decide.
He say, what are y'all gonna do with them? He's like, that does not concern me.
Wow. And they just hand them over, don't they? That's crazy. They probably just did. And they're like, we don't know what they're going to do with you guys, but here you go. That's crazy.
Yeah, so that's what's interesting about it. I didn't want to give it away, but let me make sure they're not sending me no crazy emails, because I realize now that you have to check your emails while you're freaking broadcasting. Yeah, so damn it, what was I gonna say? Because I gotta do too much now with that shit. I need a fucking assistant. But oh yeah, the whole idea. Yeah. So what do you think? Like, you know, what do you think if the aliens came and they asked for all the black people, and then they, you know, and then the aliens, you know, you asked black people, you know, that you asked the aliens, what are they gonna do with them? And they're like, that's not your concern. And so then what do you think would happen?
Sketchy. I mean, obviously black people aren't going to go. I mean, it seems like we would know better. Like they won't even tell them what they're going to do with us. Like, no. But
Yeah,
I'd love to see the like context behind it, because I'm also thinking, what if it's like the aliens are taking them back to their land, giving them also riches and promising what they should have had, kind of reversing time. So I'm curious. Like, there's so many timelines that are going through my head right now.
right. And they don't really explain that even throughout this clip. They don't ever really go into the idea of what it was, but it totally could be a utopia. Totally. Well, they're going to
Right.
touch on that, but as far as the aliens explaining what it is, no, they don't get to that. This is really all about the idea of how people will react to this kind of situation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like, what do you think? Like cause so you said people wouldn't go, but it's like, okay, the government is going to say, hey, they told us they're going to give us some gold and all of this stuff. Yeah, nigga, y'all better get your ass on this bus.
No, because like I think if I'm thinking in modern times, like the working class knows what it's like to have money, riches, resources valued over us. So we're kind of like, why would we want to help you? And I get a little bit more of that with like the younger generations. Like, why do we even want to help? Like, why would we want to build them up and give them? They've taken so much from us. They haven't even paid reparations yet, and they paid the slave masters reparations. So it's ridiculous. Why would I want to do that for you? But again, if it was an alien and I didn't know what they could do, I'm kind of thinking, well, I don't know what the hell they're gonna do. Like, who am I to say no? Like, I might get like zapped. I don't know. You just never know. So,
Yeah.
I don't
So you
know.
don't know, but the whole idea is like black people being oppressed, and this is specifically in the United States too. That's another part of this. So it's like
Mhm.
African Americans is who they're coming for. So then it's like historically black people in America have been, oppressed or whatever. So then it's like the idea of them coming and taking us to like a, basically where we're supposed to be and doing what we're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
and not living in this oppressive situation.
But what do you think makes them entitled to the treasure, the gold? What makes America entitled to that in lieu of their African American population, though?
Well, because I mean that's common sense. I mean, even in a simple group, if somebody came and like took some of your people or whatever, like even in a marriage, we was talking about how in the marriage you have to give a cow and shit like that. It's like you can't just take some of our people. You got to give us something. You know what I mean? That's just how our brain would work in a situation like that. Because even way back in the days when you had warfare against tribes and stuff like that, that's how it worked. They could capture people and then they would be like, okay, we'll give you your people back, but y'all got to give us something.
Right. But how they obtain these people is like a different story. Because that's what I'm thinking. Like, what, given their history, just America's history, what makes them entitled? It's just like, I'm thinking like just like the reparations for slave owners when they had to, give up the slave. It's the same thing. So I'm like,
I hear
what
you.
is the alien's intention? Should they be trusted? Like,
Right.
there's so many questions going through my brain.
I hear you. I hear you on that. But I think that just to keep from it being so much, because you want to, and let's say you're a superior, you're obviously superior. So, but you want to deal with these people on their level. You know what I'm saying? The way that their thought processes work.
That makes
So
sense.
then,
Yeah.
so this is just my speculation, and it's like, so you look at it and you're like, okay, so they're gonna want something or whatever. If we this way to avoid so much conflict, you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Have them give you what you want instead of you having to come take it and having to deal with it. Just make them organize it and give you what you want. So then instead of like you just.
Peaceful.
Yeah, well, you think about what they might want and try and offer that so that hopefully they'll do a swap, because you're coming down to their level and dealing with them on their level. Let me play
Right.
some more. This is interesting. We'll stop it as we go.
And the offer is non-negotiable.
I'm sorry about the sound. I don't know why the hell the sound is so bad. It's so bad.
We will not try to coerce you in any way. Yet, I hope we can do some business together.
We wait all this time for a fucking UFO and they come here with this? It's all bullshit, right?
Maybe. Maybe this day is going to go down in history. An end to poverty,
Dude's conflicted.
end to pollution, cheap, unlimited energy for every American.
What'd you say?
I said, dude's conflicted. The black guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to give him away yet.
Sounds like
He's important to this story.
a hell of a re-election platform.
Sam, I have to go on record as saying this is crazy.
But what?
Well, welfare rolls would be cut 40%. Food stamps, Medicare, drug abuse programs slashed.
May I add something, Mr. President? You know, if I could guarantee the prosperity of this great country by giving life or taking off of those space traders, I'd do so without a moment's hesitation.
You know, the Secretary's courage is not unlike that American men and women have exhibited when called to military service. Well, some go more willingly than others, but almost all go with the knowledge that they might never come back.
I don't believe what I'm hearing. Doesn't anybody see a downside to this?
You know, Casper's absolutely right. The guilt that many whites would feel for sending the blacks away could take a severe psychological toll. With
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. The only downside they could find was how the white people was gonna feel about it.
That is crazy.
Don't this conversation sound like it would go something like this? Like,
Right.
I want to take this conversation back a little bit because this one is. Let's see.
May I add something, Mr. President?
Oh yeah, she talk about food stamps and all of that gonna be slashed. Like, bruh, that's so racist. And
Yeah.
not factually correct.
Right.
You know, if I could guarantee the prosperity of this great country by giving life or taking off of those space traders, I'd do so without a moment's hesitation.
You know, the Secretary's courage is not unlike that American men and women have exhibited when called to military service. Well, some go more willingly than others, but almost all go with the knowledge that they might never come back.
I don't believe what I'm hearing. Doesn't anybody see a downside to this?
You know, Casper's absolutely right. The guilt that many whites would feel for sending the blacks away could take a severe psychological toll, with medical costs possibly reaching astronomical levels.
This is madness. Our military services would be decimated, depleted of 30% of our manpower.
But with unlimited energy, think of the weapons you could create.
Mr. President, Sam, you were elected by the slimmest of margins. Your African-American vote was key.
I don't expect them to be thrilled, but how can I put this delicately? Their future electoral clout is going to be severely limited.
Casper, let's be honest. Do you really think the aliens will treat them worse than we have?
No, the real issue here is spin control. The decision has to be the will of the people and not the administration policy.
How about a national referendum? Have MCI fire up a couple of those yes and no 900 numbers.
I'll be damned. We're on to something here. Professor Golightly, you look like you want to say
The other guy's name was Casper. This guy's name is Professor Golightly.
something.
I love it.
Gentlemen. As you know, Mr. President, I have been a lifelong card-carrying Republican. I feel I was instrumental in your moderate wing wresting control of the party from religious extremists. I have often supported this administration's repeal of affirmative action legislation, not protested its decreasing handouts to the poor. And in helping you undermine these policies, I realized that your reasons for doing so differed from mine. And yet I was always a good soldier for the party. I sincerely believed and still believe that black people need to learn how to stand on their own 2 feet without the crutches of governmental legislation. But I'm afraid I must protest in the strongest terms possible what I've heard in this room today. What is being proposed cannot be passed off euphemistically as selective service. At its best,
Euphemistic. It's funny that he used that word. I don't know why it stands out to me.
it is group banishment. At its worst, it is utter and complete extermination.
Oh, Professor, that's ridiculous.
Wait. Did I miss something? Who said anything about exterminate? Look, the space traders seem perfectly nice and civil. Their planet might be one great big Club Med for all we know.
Sam, we do not even know if these creatures can deliver on their end. You and I play poker together. What if they're as good at bluffing as you are?
Now you're whistling Dixie. I look like a damn idiot if the aliens took off and left me nothing but a big bag of tortilla chips. We'll ask them for a peek at the goodies. And if they're not BSing, we'll schedule a national referendum on the night before their deadline. Call up MCI, ask them to fire up 2 yes and no 900 numbers. Gentlemen?
Okay, yeah, what y'all think? What's up, Deuce?
Hey, what's going on?
Did you catch the backstory to this?
No, I just came in. I watched that video though.
You watched this one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So then you know what is it? It's about the black, the aliens coming and taking black people away.
Yeah. Yeah, and then all of a sudden they're like,
Well, don't tell it. Don't tell it because I'm gonna play some more of it.
Okay, I'll be quiet.
But you could talk about the idea of it. How did it make you think? What did you think about it after you watched it? Because I had to watch it again for the second time because I kind of just listened to it the first time and I watched it the second time and tried to pay attention because it had images in there too and a bunch of nuggets in there. So what did you think about after you watched it? Like, what do you think about this idea? How do you think that people would react this way? How do you think people would react in real life to something like this?
man, I think there would be a lot of hysteria, but then I think you would also have a lot of black folks that'd be like, well, shit, it can't be no worse than what we dealing with here.
Yeah. So what would you do personally? You're a black guy, and it's like, you know what was crazy though? Because we're gonna get to that, but I'm gonna spoil it a little bit. They talk about the skin tone because there was like certain amount of melanin, and it was kind of like light brown skin. Like
I guess for me, it would be the fear of the unknown. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even though you face a lot of scrutiny here, there's a lot of, that takes place in our everyday lives. I think it's still like, man, I don't know if I want to do that. I know what they expect here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what I'm gonna get if I go up there.
But that grade, when we get to it later, but I want to mention it because I'm thinking about it. It's like light brown skin. Some of me and your kids might not make that shit.
Mm-hmm. But now we're about the shade of a. Yeah, we're about the shade of. We may get it.
Gonna be right on the edge, bro.
Yeah.
Shit, I don't know if Anaya gonna make it. Tariq either.
Damn it, boy.
That's kind of scary.
Getting that sun a little bit more.
Yeah, bro. Go get a tan, bro. Let me play some more.
Lady.
Yes, talk to me. Well, first of all,
To pay off the federal deficit, but also to give every remaining American, a tax-free year. This just in. Alien craft have vacuumed the air over Denver and Los Angeles. Smog levels are reported at 0. And live from Chicago, our news team is sending these pictures from Lake Michigan.
They clean the damn ocean for them.
Gideon, if you aren't a sight for sore eyes, Linda sends her regards.
He's in the back.
And who is Linda?
Good job.
Yeah. Hello, Professor.
Travis is one of Millie's pups. George gave him to me the night of the election.
You know, if this goes through, it's not going to be easy.
Drop it, boy.
Some folks might fight it. Make the LA riots look like a slumber party. The president needs you signing aboard this thing. Professor, if you lobby on our side and the trade is approved, our president promises that he's going to see to it that 100 black families are smuggled to England. You can draw up the list.
So basically, he's got to sell out the black folks and talk them into, not fighting. So it'll be easier for them to send them, to the aliens, for his chance to, get a trip to England.
That's the same thing they do right here today, bro.
That's what I'm saying. So perfect.
Look at Ben Carson.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta go.
What's the word? Somebody had a lot of.
His neighbors are white.
Yeah. I'm not sure what they mean. But he said that they'll smuggle us to England if I lobby on his side.
So what did you tell him?
I'm not sure, Gail, that they even need my help, given the state of black leadership.
Please, unity would come out all speak at once.
Oh man.
All right,
They're going.
legislation.
Is this the part where they make? Hold on, let me see.
What do you mean, given the state of black leadership?
I know, bruh. I know. And then they flip straight to the church, and then the part where they're gonna be talking about the church, and then you got the rabbi in there. And like I was saying in my other video, what is the connection with that? It's so weird to me how you have the Jewish and the Christians, like they follow the Jew. I don't get that dynamic. Like I don't understand that shit. And it's like, yeah, okay, so given the state of black leadership, like, you know what I'm saying? Basically, it's trash. So, you know what I'm saying? And then they flip straight to the church. And then later on, he's going to actually, I'm going to give it away a bit, but towards the end of this, he's going to actually be saying the right things, even though his history was not the right things. And he had a good idea, but then they shut him down. And then they started singing the damn church songs, man. The damn old slavery ass fucking.
Right.
Let me play some more.
The boycott. Armed struggle. Look, my friends, very little is being accomplished here today. Rabbi. They tried this once before, but I pledge to you that hundreds of thousands of Jews will not allow another final solution in this country. Not now, not ever.
Like, and there goes controlled opposition again, because, they're not going to win. Like, and even like, let's say they did have some kind of like, but they would be a minority as far as the population because, they're going to do a vote, a 1-800 number or whatever. And, so, and the thing is, black people are the minority, right? So even if every black person voted to, against it, they still going to lose if every white person voted for it. You get what I'm saying? Even if you had the Jewish community with the blacks.
You just know once we gone, you all are next.
Latest tracking polls indicate support of the trade at 40%. The melanin content of 2,500 milligrams per square centimeter that the traders requested roughly corresponds to a light brown skin complexion. Dr. Eric Fannin of
See, light brown skin complexion. Like I say, I don't know if all my kids gonna make that.
Johns Hopkins. Excuse me, Dr. Fanon will explain. Doctor.
The amount of melanin in one's skin varies according to how dark or tan we might be. 2,500 milligrams per square centimeter corresponds to the darkness of, well, what I'd say to be an ordinary paper bag.
Thank you, Doctor. In other news, government sources confirm that France, England, and Germany have offered their blacks as well. But the alien spokesperson is quoted as saying, maybe next time.
Did y'all hear that? What it said? France and Germany offered up its black people, but the alien said maybe next time. Let me play it again.
And Germany have offered their blacks as well. But the alien spokesperson is quoted as saying, maybe next time.
So it's like they only want the black Americans.
Hi, Mom. What's this? All I'm saying is try it. Oh my God, it was the last box in the store, and I just thought.
Is that a cream to make her lighter or some shit?
Yeah, that's what it was. I ain't gonna lie, I missed that. I watched this twice, and I thought it was darker because it would make sense for the rest of the movie because, well, I don't want to give it away, but yeah, that's kind of weird though. Yeah, but then it goes with the theme, the idea of, not wanting to identify as black. You know what I'm saying? And there's a real problem with that. It's a huge problem with that. In Africa, they have these chicks that are hurting themselves because they're lightening up their skin and they're using these unsafe products and it's making them sick. You know what I'm saying? They have products all over the place that they sell people to do this. And some of these products are any of them can't be really good for you, but some of them are really, really toxic. But people care more about the results than they do about, their health or whatever. It's really, really sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna play some more. This is the black rebuttal right here. And it's like, you see, he's kind of like the aristocrat, right? Because he's the politician. And he's like on his lawn with sculpted freaking shrubs and shit, and this is his barber. Now listen to what his barber says and kind of feel the dynamic between the two of them. These are two black men.
Yes, sir. And I'm taking all my scissors with me too, so they don't tell them what kind of electricity them aliens gonna have on them ships. Because us black folks, we don't like arriving nowhere on nappy headed. So you really think they're gonna send us away, man? And I told you the one about the American dream. That's what all the niggas swimming back to Africa with a Jew under each arm. You're outrageous. But Piggy, we could fight back. Like the Palestinians. Rocks and guns. Nigga, please. Like I'm gonna get myself killed just to stay here. I just hope they got them little bottles of Remy Martin on the flight.
He said, nigga, please. I don't want to get myself killed just to stay here. I just hope they got some Remy Martin, little bottles. Yo, it's so perfect.
Got to have my Remy Martin. Remy Martin. Wait, hold it. Where you going? I'll be right back. Rich folks are crazy.
Police, this is crazy. If the president didn't listen, why should they?
Because they're Captain's first Caucasian second. What do you think I've been doing on these corporate boards all these years? This is what it's all been about.
The police and these people.
Black people have been calling me an Oreo ever since I was 12. After tomorrow, they'll call me a hero.
And if it doesn't work, what about the family? What about you?
Could we live with ourselves if I help them send black people away?
No.
So it's kind of like, you know, the thing is, like, this guy is not necessarily a bad guy, like, and it shows the complexities of people. Like, even though he was in the room full of the white folks or whatever, and they, you know, and then being the only black guy, I mean, he had to say something, but he did say something. And so, but also he's like, you know, y'all's like, we line up on conservatism or whatever, but our agendas are not the same. You get what I'm saying? So like, I think that's important for people to focus on and understand, you know, like Pat is a good example. I wish he was here, you know. He's very conservative. So, but he's not going to line up with the neo-Nazis, you know what I'm saying? Right. And that's where people have to look at the complexities of people. Like, nobody is just liberal or just conservative or just Republican or just Democrat or whatever. Nobody really fits those labels. No one. We're all more complicated than that. You know what I'm saying? On our views and perceptions or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And this guy's going to try to do the right thing, but because of his history, it's not going to work because he's can't be trusted by the black community, because the black community know he's been stabbing them in the back his whole career. But it's really sad when, like, a person, I think that you should focus on the message. I think that's another part of this that struck me, is that what we tend to do, especially now in this day and age, you know, in identity politics, we focus on who the person is at first before the information. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, I can't listen to this guy or whatever. I can't listen to nothing this guy says. And it really doesn't matter who this person is. And like I said, you can learn from a dog. Let me ask you this, Amina. Have you learned anything from your dogs? Mm-hmm. Tell the audience something you've learned from the dogs.
I learned about the importance of having clear communication with dogs. People think that they need to woo their dogs and be like, oh, and really that's not the way dogs work. And we have to remember the nature of the dog before anything, before our own human emotions need to get involved.
Yeah. So anyways, my point is that you can learn from anything, anyone. And, you know, the way we have this bubble of information and the way we have this cancel culture, the way we have this polarity, it's like you can't listen to certain people or whatever if you're on whatever side. You can't listen to that guy. He's on the other side or whatever. Or maybe he's not official or he's not expert. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's the issue, you know. And this, like, so this guy, he had done things in the past that wasn't cool, but this time he's saying the right things. So, but we can't hear him because of what he did before. And it's like, for me, I'm like, I always listen to the people's words, you know what I'm saying, and try to hear where they're coming from regardless. And I think that we should all do that because we're missing a lot when we don't. It's not that much left in this video. I'm going to play some more because they're wrapping it up.
Call you tonight. Gentlemen, first of all, thank you for coming. Now, I suppose to the rank and file American, this unholy offer by the aliens must seem like an answer to their wildest dreams. It seems to me, however, upon further reflection, that this trade could bring our nation nothing but disaster. He's right. But I don't want you to take my word for it. Because after all, I come from a very obvious Self-interest. Leland, why don't you tell the rest of the boys how this trade would affect your distilleries?
Blacks drink 33% of my hard liquor, 48% of my cognac alone. Who's going to take up that slack?
Why, it'll decimate athletic shoe sales.
Cool and Newport cigarettes.
Pork. 15% of our best consumers gone. Like that.
Did y'all hear that? It's so terrible. But this part would actually be true. And this part is like, how he went to go find a group of white men who own businesses that would be hurt, with the black people leaving, to, find a coalition of people to help him on his mission, to take this in a different direction. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's really interesting how, like, they talk about cigarettes and alcohol and shit. Damn, bro, that's horrible and hurtful.
It's really interesting too, because he said he was conservative for different reasons, and now I'm seeing it play out where he's literally code switching. He feels a certain way, but he's presenting to these guys because he knows that's what's going to get him the vote, or what's going to get him the people that are going to back him up.
Right.
It's really interesting
because he knows what their motivations are.
And we at the oil companies employ over 12 million people worldwide. Now, the alien, inexhaustible energy source will wipe us out overnight.
Furthermore, the blacks are all gone. How long do you think poor whites will stand being at the very bottom of the barrel? We'll have a revolution before the year's out.
We've got to tell those little green men to go back where they came from.
That's an interesting idea, part of it too. You know what I'm saying? Like, this one's hard to talk about, but they said it. They said, how would the white people feel, the ones being on the bottom? And then later in the week, I sent a video about the eugenics stuff, and I'm going to cover that a bit. But in the eugenics, brown-haired white people was on the list of not, suitable, suitable for extermination.
Yeah.
So the thing is, like, they asked the question, how would the white people feel? Now the black people are gone, so the white people that's on the bottom, they're gonna have a conniption. I think that's true. I think that's really, really true. Nobody to look down on. Let me play some more.
Excellent, gentlemen. Excellent. So I believe that this room represents a few $1 trillion in assets. I propose that we mount the largest ad campaign this nation has ever seen. We buy up every minute of radio and TV airtime, every print ad, every billboard, even every goddamn bus bench, and we flood them with the anti-trade message, SOS, save our soul.
We'll have whites on their knees begging blacks to stay.
By executive order, the president has banned African Americans from leaving the country before tomorrow's birthday.
Mommy,
This
you
is
can't just pretend this isn't happening. You know, Sis Ruth, my great grandmother, she used to clean white folks' houses on the main line in Philadelphia.
In other news,
She told me,
Mexican
they may not like us, but they sure can't live without us.
What do y'all think about that idea?
We
It's
know
true.
that to be true.
I think that's interesting. Very interesting idea.
Don't worry, baby. They can't live without us. Money.
has been flooded.
Guatemalans clean their houses now.
After George Hamilton vowed.
Did y'all hear? The sound is so bad on this. She said Guatemalans clean their houses now. That's something to think about.
Today, he too will go.
Because the previous line was they can't, they need us.
Did you know that the African Americans won over 500 of 850 Olympic medals awarded to the United States?
Yes. Good thing.
Cigarettes, cognac.
They're giving out cigarettes and cognac and trying to convince people to vote no against, sending black people away.
Wow.
Hello again, everybody. Thank you. My name's Casey Kasem, and welcome to Alien Trade Referendum. Just say no! Oh, boy. Can you imagine life without jazz? No. Or without the blues? No. Or without rock and roll? No. So that's what life would have been like in these United States without the contributions of African Americans. If this referendum passes, and we vote to send dark-skinned people up into outer space,
It's bad African Americans from leaving the country before tomorrow's referendum.
Mommy,
This
we
is
can't just pretend this isn't happening.
World News Now.
Can I Sis Ruth, my great-grandmother? She used to clean white folks'
She's all calm because she thinks they're going to get a trip to England.
houses on the main line in Philadelphia.
In other
She
news,
told me,
Mexican
they may not like us.
Oh, this is the
They
repeat
sure
clip.
can.
Hamilton vowed today.
or without rock and roll. I tell you what.
Okay, this is for the people. This is for the people. Eggheads.
So tomorrow, when you pick up your phone to vote in the privacy of your own home,
My people, oh, my people, the sit-ins and the boycotts have worked. We are ahead in the polls.
So the polls say that it's the referendum is people are going to vote no against it.
Don't count your chickens before they come home to roost.
Oh, somebody bring me some milk, because he come a big Oreo.
Yes, yes. Give him a chance. We are ahead in the polls. Who knows
It signs in the audience that says NAACP, Zulu Nation.
how these people will vote in the privacy of their own homes.
Oh, sit down, Tom.
I am well aware of how I am perceived.
Nation
but
of
now is
Islam.
not the time for our petty squabbling. Now, this came to me this morning. In order to ensure victory, we must stop resisting the offer
Hey, I'm still
and
on here, but I
urge
got
the
to build
country
the
to
road so I
accept
can't
the
get
trade.
this tire replaced.
All right, bro.
Yeah, I'm a mute, but I'm still listening.
All right, bro.
This proposition. Major motivation for racism in this country is the deeply held belief that black people should not have anything that white people don't. Not only do whites insist on better jobs, higher incomes, better neighborhoods, better schools, but they leap to gobble up our language, our dress, our music, and our dance. Therefore, I propose that from now until the polls open this evening, we circulate the rumor that the aliens have arranged for our transport to the wealthiest and most beautiful utopia in the known universe.
That would work, actually. That's perfect psychology right there.
White folks will go ape, wondering what we will encounter in this new land. They will gnash their teeth. They will even argue that to limit the space traders' offer to blacks is an unconstitutional discrimination against whites.
Cannot stand. You heard that? An unconstitutional discrimination against whites for you to take our black people away. I think that would work.
Any longer and be influenced by a man who has dedicated his entire life to sabotaging his own people. Now is not the time for trickery and tomfoolery. My
My people were brought here involuntarily. And involuntarily is the only way they're gonna take me out.
There's so many theatrics in the way he's trying to talk to them. It seems kind of unrelatable.
But they're gonna relate to those words. I think so. It's working. You see how he's gearing up the audience.
Yes, Lord. Without power must use cunning and guile.
They're not listening to him. They singing that slave song. Cause see, basically they're putting their hope and faith into white people to like do the right thing, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to remember the dynamic of the population, right? It's the overall population of the United States. And black people are what? Less than like somewhere around 30%? So therefore, if you think you're going to win, then a good substantial amount of white people are going to have to vote. You know, no.
Well, today is the day of reckoning for 20 million Americans of African descent. Voting will begin in just a few seconds from now. As you know, 2 telephone numbers will appear on your screen, one in favor and one against the Space Traders offer. After dialing the number of your choice, simply key in your personal security code. Here, ladies and gentlemen, are the 2 numbers. The polls will remain open for the next 3 hours, but we should be able to project a decision very shortly. Wait. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, with just 6% of the vote tallied, we project that the referendum will pass by a comfortable margin. Oh, God.
The numbers that they chose are interesting because, hold on, let me see. Can I catch it? Because what is the population of black people in the United States?
Oh, I don't know.
Like 30%, 32, 33%, somewhere up in there, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
The number that they gave was 37%. And that's a really good number because that would be the ones that did go with the black people.
Right.
Only one piece of carry-on luggage.
Hold on.
The aliens say they will allow only one piece of carry-on luggage per person. Oh, wait. Hey. This is Bernard Shields. Goodbye.
Burners and bacon. This is the end of it, y'all. It's got like
Dad.
3 minutes or so.
This is insane. You're just sitting here like nothing's wrong, nothing's going on. We gotta do something. I mean, can we get across the border or get guns for everybody? I don't know.
Jennifer, they stopped selling guns to us yesterday, and 2 days ago they quadrupled the border guards. You know that.
But you and he did pledge the same fraternity. He just can't.
Pledge the same fraternity. There goes that shit again. I be talking about this all the time, and I don't think people really understand it, but it's like, you know, the elitism type of thing, where I'm better than you type of thing, or I deserve more privileges than you type of thing. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing is like, you know, whenever like, I don't know, you get pulled over, like, they're like, okay, well, you need to fix all your stuff in your car so you don't get pulled over or whatever. Or like, you know, they do something to you that's wrong. The people just tell you, well, you just do what they do or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You know, put some 100 club stickers on your car or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Put some American flags or something, you know? They just say, do what they do. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, you know, that goes that elitism, and that reestablishes the same system. You know what I'm saying? And forces everyone to follow that system of just look out for me and my friends and my family, tell them the secrets to get by, lie, cheat, you know what I'm saying? And fucking, you know, just don't get caught. Anyways, I hate it. I hate that shit. I hate that shit. I hate that shit. And oh yeah, join a fraternity so that you can get, you know, deals with that. They have to show you love. Your brothers in the frat gotta do what they gotta do. She still got eggs on her hand.
Morning, Gail. Wife, you aren't a sight for sore eyes. Linda sends her regards.
He keeps on saying Linda sends her regards. I was thinking about that a lot, and it's like, well, wait, I'm not gonna give it away to the end. I'm away.
England?
Promise is a promise.
Get out of here.
Not you, Gail.
Gail is not black, his wife, and she had on some kind of like makeup to look browner. This whole time she's not black chick. He's married to a white chick. So plot chick twist. Dun dun dun.
Promise is a promise.
No! Lenny!
Okay, so the girlfriend's a white girl, so
Lenny! No!
and in case you haven't figured it out, they're not going to England.
You knew it was hopeless as soon as the idea was out of the bag. Didn't you?
He said you knew it was hopeless as soon as the idea was out of the bag. Like, basically, the aliens gonna give us a bunch of money and clean up our environment and stuff, and all we gotta do is give up the black people? And you thought we wasn't finna go for that? You're crazy. You know, and the other part, Linda, he kept saying, Linda gets sensitive regards. This is like probably his sister, friend, mother, somebody related to him. And that was to signal that she was white folks. And that's the connection too, like with the guy, then they called him an Oreo, and then him getting in and then being a part. That's one of the ways you do it, right? You can marry in, you know, right? Maybe because those people were obviously important, right? The ones that came to pick him up, these were other political people, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. So he probably kind of married into it. So yeah, let me play the end of it. It's wrapping up.
All right, people off the bus and on the beat. Come on, folks, let's move. Get your belongings. Get up fast. Stand on. Let's go. Off the bus and on the beat. Let's follow along. If you can't carry it, leave it behind. Push wild, no talking.
When I look at this, I figure like they would be so comfortable. The United States would be so comfortable doing this. I think. And you know it would be ugly. It would get ugly. That's like the image of the rapture, right? So that's the flip on this. I'm going to read some comments because it's about to be over, but that's what I'm going to do at the end. But that's the flip on this. It's like the rapture. But the rapture and like, you know, God coming to take his children. Not like the rapture and everybody's going to die or some shit.
And so
it's like the rapture of like finally getting to go to heaven. Let me play the last little clip.
as we say goodbye to our dark friends and neighbors, we say hello to a new era of American peace and prosperity. For World News Now, I'm Stryker O'Rourke.
You heard what he said? Let me play that again because it's so much, the sound is so terrible. So the black people are gone.
So as we say goodbye to our dark friends and neighbors, we say hello to a new era of American peace and prosperity.
As we say goodbye to our dark friends and neighbors, we say hello to a new era of American peace and prosperity.
World News Now, I'm Stryker O'Rourke.
This dude's name is Stryker, and he replaced the black guy because that was the same show, news show. Black guy's gone. This guy is in his place. News networks are not even getting clicks like that. So this shows like there's an opportunity for this, what we're doing here on this show,